Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Mayowa Adeyemi, and I'm here with Oluwaseyi. Now, Oluwaseyi, let me start with a scenario that keeps thousands of business owners across Nigeria awake at night. Imagine a bright Tuesday morning in Lagos. Your dispatch rider walks into your office and hands you a brown envelope. It has the official logo of the Nigerian Revenue Service, the NRS. Your heart instantly drops into your stomach.
Ah, yes, the famous brown envelope. It has a very specific way of inducing panic, doesn't it? But you know, Mayowa, from what I've seen in the market, the biggest mistake is that panic makes people react blindly. They either ignore it, hoping it goes away, or they panic send a mountain of unorganized documents.
Exactly, and that is because they do not realize that not all NRS letters are created equal. In my 35 years of dealing with tax authorities, the absolute first thing you must do within 5 minutes of opening that envelope is look at the heading. Is it a simple desk inquiry, or is it a formal compliance check, or, even worse, a pre-audit notification?
Wait, let's break that down. A simple desk inquiry versus a compliance check. To a regular business owner who is just trying to run a logistics company or a retail chain, those sound like different ways of saying, "We want to look at your money." Why does the label matter so much?
It matters because the level of severity and the legal timeline are completely different. A desk inquiry is usually just a request for clarification. Maybe your value-added tax, your VAT, filing for June didn't quite match the withholding tax credit notes you claimed. It is a specific, narrow question. But a compliance check, that is a systemic look at your entire tax health over a specific period, usually the last financial year.
Right, so a desk inquiry is like a teacher pointing at a single typo in your essay, whereas a compliance check is them demanding to see the entire syllabus and all your rough notes. And if you misinterpret a compliance check as a simple inquiry, you might miss the strict response window, which is usually 7 to 14 days. And suddenly, you are facing administrative penalties under Section 40 of the NRS Establishment Act.
Spot on, Oluwase. Under the law, failing to respond to these statutory notices within the specified time frame can attract automatic fines. And more importantly, it flags your company in the NRS portal as non-compliant. Once that red flag is up, getting it down is a monumental task.
Okay, so let's say the letter has arrived, we've identified it, and now we are in the thick of the process. We need to distinguish between a desk review and a full-blown field audit. Now, as I understand it, a desk review is carried out entirely within the NRS office. They are looking at the returns you already submitted online through the Rev 360 platform. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. The tax inspector doesn't leave their office. They sit at their desk in, let's say, the medium taxpayer's office in Ikeja, and they compare your audited financial statements against your CIT, your company's income tax returns. They are looking for mathematical errors, unallowable expenses you claimed, or inconsistencies in your capital allowances.
Which is very different from a field audit, where they actually show up at your physical premises. They want to see the warehouse, the inventory, the physical ledgers, and they want to interview your staff.
Exactly. And this is where business owners need to know their boundaries. When a field audit team arrives, they will usually send a letter indicating the scope of the audit and the names of the authorized officers. You must verify those names. And here is a critical rule. You do not have to give them unlimited access to your entire office database or unrelated historical files on day one.
That's an important boundary. I've seen situations where business owners, out of fear, just open up their entire server to the auditors. And suddenly, an audit that was supposed to be about the 2022 financial year turns into a fishing expedition into 2018 and 2019, which should have been closed.
Precisely. The law provides parameters. If the audit notification specifies the 2021 and 2022 assessment years, your duty of cooperation is strictly limited to records relevant to those years. Keep them in a designated room. Provide only the requested documents that are within scope, and let all communications go through a designated tax professional or your internal finance head. Do not let your administrative staff chat casually with the auditors about how business is going.
Yes, the classic accidental confession over tea. Oh, business is great. We actually imported 3 new containers last month that aren't on the books yet. That is a nightmare scenario for any tax consultant.
Now we must talk about the ultimate red zone, the absolute highest level of escalation, the tax investigation. This is not a routine audit, Oluwaseyi. This is when the NRS triggers an investigation because they have a strong suspicion of tax evasion, willful neglect, or serious financial fraud.
And this is where the rules of the game change completely, right? Because with a standard audit, there is a statute of limitations. Under Section 66 of the Personal Income Tax Act and similar provisions in the Companies Income Tax Act, the NRS generally cannot go back more than 6 years to audit you, unless there is fraud. But with an investigation,
that 6-year limit completely evaporates. If they suspect fraud or willful default, they can go back 15, 20 years. They can look at the day you registered the business, and the consequences are no longer just pay the tax and a small penalty. We are talking about severe criminal liabilities, prosecution, freezing of bank accounts, and sealing of premises.
that is incredibly serious. And I think many entrepreneurs don't realize that the NRS has a dedicated intelligence and investigation department specifically for this. If you get a letter from that department, it is not the time to try and explain things yourself. You need immediate, high-level professional representation.
Immediate. Do not write a single email back to them without your tax consultant and legal counsel reviewing it. And this highlights why having an airtight audit trail is so important from day one. When an investigation starts, they will demand bank statements, customs clearing documents, board resolutions, and third-party contracts. If you have been running your business on Excel sheets and personal bank accounts, you are in deep trouble.
It really comes down to that signature philosophy of yours, Mayowa. Financial freedom and business survival are not built by chance. It requires discipline, proper structure, and knowing when to call in the experts. Don't wait for the brown envelope to start organizing your books.
Well said, Oluwaseyi. Build the structure today so that when the NRS writes, you can respond with confidence, not fear. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone, and keep those books clean.